Hi, my name is Damien, and I want to tell you a story about my experience with what I know has been a close encounter. From my childhood, 7 years old, and 1995 and 1996, which were basically all connected. And the reason I'm standing here is because I'm going to get to that in a little while, why this is a significant location as far as the story is concerned. Where the story began as a 7-year-old in New York, Long Island, West Babylon, on Commander Avenue, living in that White House. And it began from having a dream or nightmares or whatever you want to call it, and having a repetitious dream about a soldiers coming in the room. And I talked to my aunt one night about it, and she told me to say a prayer. So I said the prayer, into my bed, hands folded, went to sleep. About probably early in the morning. I know it was early in the morning. I didn't have no clock in the room. I just kind of woke up out of my sleep. And when I woke up, I just kind of opened my eyes and cleared up. And I looked towards my door, because my door was kind of up to the left. And I saw what looked like two people at the door, but I just kind of figured it was my mother or someone in the house. But as I looked closer, as far as my eyes got more clear, I realized that they weren't either one. This is one thing I hadn't seen before. It was just a figure. I could never see that face. It kind of reminded me of a negative, a movie negative. But, to go on, I tried to stare it down and see as much as I can. I could not see a face. I could not see anything. All I knew was a taller one and there was a shorter one, and the man looked like he was carrying something like a camera on his shoulder. Like one of those movie cameras, or somebody like a film or news crew type of camera. So what I did was, I just, like I said, I laid there. So this kind of went on. If I say the prayer, then I'll have this, this entity, something will come to the room. And throughout the week, I'd always make sure I would check to make sure the room doesn't make the same type of shadow or light reflection from outside, because we had an outside light in the back, in the front yard. So what I did was I used that as far as to find out whether or not that was the same thing, but it wasn't. So as time went on, we would say the prayer, see them at the door, or have the dream. So I chose to say the prayer, and I would see them at the door. It got to the point where I can just not even wake up and look and just see that they're there. I would wake up and I would hold off before I wake up, because it's like being woken up out of a sleep. And what I would do is, after that, I would kind of like pull my covers back, because right now I was like sleeping under my covers, and I would keep my eyes squinted, and I would see them. It got to the point where I would know they were there before I even opened my eyes. And this is the way it was. It's just that feeling of like when somebody's standing behind you, and you know that somebody's there, and you just kind of jump, oh, I didn't know you were there. This was when I was a child, and this was somebody that they were there, but I didn't know who they were. And throughout that whole period of my childhood, as far as from 7 to 13, this experience happened to me. And I guess I didn't know anything about UFOs or anything, about ghosts, things like that, Casper the Friendly Ghost, that kind of story, and, watching these little things. But it was never anything that so close to me. But I knew what I experienced. And what makes it so significant to me, with what I'm saying now, is that it's something I never really told anybody until recently, and I just really started to actually bring it out and talk about it. But it happened with some events that went on later in my life. So what I did was I came up with this, and I'm letting you know that everything here is on the one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you about the incident that brought me to this state, to where I'm doing this right now. The event that happened led to something else, and that was when I was at 11, between 7 and 13, I actually found something on me. And it was in a private area. I thought all boys had it as far as the piercing light, but it was like a little black stick, a little tiny little black stick, probably a little like a black bristle of a brush, but it was inserted so perfectly, like it couldn't have been like a splinter. It was there, it was pushed in, and it came out the other side. You could see the two ends almost evenly. So I kind of wondered, it couldn't have happened to me as 2, 3 years. I would have remembered that. I would have remembered somebody having to do that to me. Because there's no way in the world I would have sat still for that. I don't think any boy would have. I don't think anybody would have sat still for that. But the way it was done, and the way it was there, it stayed on me. I felt it. I could feel sometimes the sensation, but it never really bothered me, but it did bother me. And then by the time I was 13 years old, my great-grandfather died. He died in March 1st, 1995. My dog went to the pound the same week because she used to just run loose. It was a German Shepherd, and I had her since 1969. She went to I lost her that week. So it was like one of those trying times in my life as far as 13 years old. I got a job working as a newspaper deliverer, and that was like in April. So by the time August came around, it was like this thing, I felt it again, and I said, I'm taking this thing out of me. So I was just on a mission at that moment. I'm taking it out. So I tried to squeeze my skin back and to try to get the end of it out. So what I did was I pulled and saw where I could try to push it out, and then I kind of like pulled it. I tried it a couple times, and then I finally got the end, and I pulled it out, and it was like a little, like I said, a little piece black, and I had it on my finger. And from that point, I took it, looked at it, and then after that, it just broke apart. You know, it was kind of weird because when it came out solid. It didn't break or anything like that. And then at that point, it was done. You know, I didn't have any more the visits like that. I didn't have any more dreams. But I still have the pierce part from where that existed. So that's why it stayed with me all the time. And now we go to 1995. I had another experience. This is years. I'm a grown person. I'm living in the house by myself. And this experience led me to, to do a few things as far as dealt with a globe and the map and taking the travel agency course. If you would have heard me speak about it on a couple of my other tapes that I spoke about this incident, but I never related those two, and I never went deep enough to why I stayed on this thing or what made it, come to me like that. What made me kind of like keep a fresh mind about it. 1996 comes around. Now, 1996, this is where the moment of the turning point of where everything I said took place. Now, I'm living not too far. I live over here off of Snowflake Park, which is not too far. Probably I can run a good sprint and get there. And this is where I lived at in 1996. I actually lived there from 1989 to 1997. And I could actually, like I said, run a sprint and get there. And this, like I said, this was completely woods. This was nowhere near what it is now. The people come fishing here. They always talked about fishing in the woods, but this is pretty deep woods as far as coming out. People did come out at shooting. I used to hear people gunshots around here. It was a military practice area. That was before I moved here. This had to be like in the early 60s or 70s, something like that. But it was way before I moved here when that happened. Back over here on the side, like I said, all this is woods at that time. Well, anyway, during this time in my life, like I said, I was living in this neighborhood, and like I said, I was just trying to get as far as property. I would buy some houses and things, and that was my mission at that point. So one day, I had let a friend of mine, girlfriend of mine, stay at a house of mine because she had lost her apartment, so she basically was homeless. So I tried not to get involved because she was, we always bumped heads, and I said, well, you do your thing, I do my thing. But when it came down to what happened, I couldn't really turn my back on her. So I tried to avoid it as much as I can, help her stay where she would stay, but I couldn't just ignore her. So I let her stay in the house. So I let her stay in my house for like 9 months. And she was only supposed to stay there for a short period of time. So being that she was supposed to be there for a short period of time, I was kind of like, when are you going to leave? So at this point, this day, I had to just basically get this situation straightened out. So what I did was, I said, I'm going to take this time off and we're going to go out and we're going to talk about this. So I stayed out all day as far as talking about it in my yard, my garage, and then we went from that point, we went to the, to where she was at, to her house, which was my house. But, after that, what I did was, I talked to her all day. I was talking to her as much as I can to see if I can get down to the bottom of this thing. So I didn't think I was getting much leeway with her because it just seemed like it was just going in one ear and out the other. So it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. And I said, almost actually about 2:30, almost 2:45. I asked her because she had, we haven't eaten all day. So I said, let's go to the Miami Sub before Miami Sub's closed. So we jumped in the car and we head out to Miami Sub, which was on Orange Blossom Trail at the time, or South Orange Blossom Trail in Orlando. But what happened was, we got there, I ordered some wings, she ordered wings, I ordered gyro, French fries, Coke. Came back to the house. It was such a nice day, night out. It was like the way I feel it right now, but it was dark. And we went inside the house, and I said, let's go back outside, because it was such a nice night. Let's go outside and we can eat out. And, because we were already outside talking pretty much the night. So what I did was, when we stepped back out, I sat in the car. She was, she had a blue Nissan in the car, in the yard, and a white Sunbird. The Nissan was broken down, it was her car. The Sunbird I bought for her because I kind of messed her car up, but she was supposed to pay me back, but that's another story in itself. She was sitting on that car and facing me towards the garage, towards would be this way, where I'm at now. I was facing towards the street, and I could see the street light, I could see my other house and the cul-de-sac. And I'm starting to continue back talking to her about, motivating her about, if you do this, you can actually get your own place. You don't want nobody to tell you what to do. You're kind of like, you're on your own, independent woman. You can do this, you can do this. So I'm giving this thing and try to make this speech as motivational as possible to her. But I don't know, she just wants it away, like, I guess something like a movie or something. And so as I'm speaking to her, all of a sudden, at the corner of my eye, I'm just like, I'm looking at her like I'm looking at the camera now, and I noticed something coming, and I just caught it, and I turned my head, and I see this thing diving out the sky. And it was just so, obvious to the point that I had to stop. So I stopped, and I looked, and I don't say nothing to her. She's just, not far away from me. So I stepped back, kind of like, see what this is. So when it came down, I had a queen palm about 3 feet off that's about 3 feet high. And we had left the door open in the house, so we had a light from inside the house that cut into the grass, the darkness of the grass. And you could see like that type of a sharp edge. So what ended up happening was, I'm stopped. I have no more conversation with this, because now I'm controlling, I'm basically concentrating on what's happening in this here, right? So as this thing comes down, it basically comes and touches almost the top of the palm, the queen palm. And when it touched the queen palm, and it went back up, it almost went back up into the light of where my house is at, as far as the door was open. And the reason why I'm standing here right now, because one, the area itself didn't exist. Two, was that fountain right there. See the way the fountain drops and it comes down like this. Now we know that's water, we know that's sprouting, but this is what it looked like, in a sense that it was in a form of that type of long shape, and it came down and it dropped. I seen it dropping right over the pole, and it dropped away the pole, right up. The fountain is dropping right now, and it looked, like I said, a puff of smoke about 9 to 10 feet long. It's just perfect the way this thing is, because that's the way it looked. But I know that is of course, a fountain in water. But to have something that actually came down and it swooped and it touched almost to the palm, queen palm, and it came back up. The same way it goes like this, it did that, but it jerked up. It jerked up to where it went back up, and then it went over the house. I thought it went inside, but it went over the house because I saw the tail of it. So at that point, I know I'm dealing with some intelligent situation because why would it just go right there, go up, and then right into over the top of the house? I mean, it just basically stayed over the roof. So I'm just sitting there for a minute, actually for about 10 seconds, and I asked Myra, I said, Myra, you see that? She goes, no, but I heard it. I heard it, but I was so busy paying attention to what it looked like and where it was going that I wasn't thinking about hearing it. So at that point, I had no more conversation with it. So after that, I was like, okay, I'm quiet. All I'm hearing now is the sound of the occasional car, a buzzing of a bee or a mosquito, and then silence. And it was dark. And I had a feeling, something told me that it's still around. And I don't know. I know it was still around. That's all I had the feeling of. And I didn't know it was coming back, why, but it seemed so intentional the way it came down, and it was like 15 feet away from me, that this had to be something on purpose. And that's what I just got that feeling from. So what I did was, I said, I'm going to go into the house, because I wanted to go to a boat show in the morning, and I had just pretty much, I was done with whatever I had to say to her, as far as that. So I went in the house, sat down, I wasn't sleepy at all, and I decided, kind of like wonder what's going on. And as time went on, you know, I kind of realized that this was not no coincidence, because it was actually the same night, a year later to the same time, that the incident happened to me back on August 11th, 1995 at 3:30 in the morning, 3:30 a.m. And so I kind of put those two together as far as knowing that this is something that at that point was like a telepathic type of message, as far as, you know, it was, I got something that got in my head. Standing out in front of Millennium Mall during the daytime now. And again, I want to show you the front of the mall itself. To the front entrance to the mall. The Millennium Mall, the mall at the Millennium. And I want to show you the obelisk structure where I said in the beginning that when the experience happened to me back in 1995, 1996, this obelisk structure played a part. Like I said, this mall itself is connected to the close encounter back in I had 1996, August 11th, about 3:30 in the morning. I'm going to walk straight up to the mall. I'm going to walk right in and check this obelisk out, or with the disc on top. Pretty popular place. Here's the structure here inside the mall. Now we continue walking in the center of the mall. Got a little water fountain here. Again, this place opened up in 2001. Now when it come into the center, where I said that the layouts at, we have this layout here in the mall center. These words here. I'm not an astrologist, so I haven't read any of these words or looked them up, or astronomer. show you something that you probably recognize. Or horn. That's the word horn. Yeah, I recognize that word. This word here. It's a lion. It's significant to what I said. The experience happened in 1995, 1996. And in the middle, you walk into the middle, in the center, look up, there's the pyramid, right in the middle. Down one end, or the trail, or what I said, the layout of the way that entity came that night, went over the top of the house. You say this layout goes from one side to the other. And goes from one end of the mall to the other. This is what I'm saying, how it went. And after I saw that night on August 11th, 1996, that the idea of the pyramids started coming to me as far as the houses were laid out. And they said the houses were laid out like a lion. This was the belt of a lion. But if you look right here, you see basically all you see is the waist. There's the foot, the leg, the knee, and all you get is the belt. There's a sword. It ends at the waist. Right? And this is what I said what it represented. Now we'll go down towards the end. And I'll show you how this thing curves around. And even at that night, the same color you see from the tint of this skylight, which again, of course, it's energy efficient design. Many buildings like this have it, but what I'm showing is, or what I'm saying is, this is what happened that night that started everything in my experience. I had noticed the way the floor was, but let's say I'm walking down, showing the trail of the way the object came down and went over the center of the house. Experience that this set off on this close encounter is what led to my finding out about the houses, and I'm
go here where I can basically almost tell you the story of what happened after that. Was I put the signs up, and it was not long after putting the signs up, August 11th, August 22nd, 1996, that I found out about the houses were laid out like pyramids. Floor, set of triangles that basically imitate pyramids, how one is larger than the other, the smallest at the end. The same way, say the houses are lined up like the Orion, where you have the man downstairs with a belt that's located. It was after seeing this, what I'm saying is this layout, this object that came down, that what I'm saying, this manifestation of creating a building, not saying that they knew, but I'm saying this is what I'm posing this is about. My own gut feeling lets me know this is the results of that experience, which was 5 years earlier, before this place was built. Again, the 3 pyramids, I did this after I saw the layout or the object that night, which was on August 11th, 1996, and in August, actually it was in about September when I noticed the houses, when I said that they were laid out like the Orion, 3 pyramids. Now, again, come against the layout here. And another pyramid. 3 pyramids. Why 3? Most people walk across this, never think twice of what this is about. Well, you can take it for what it's worth. And again, this here is what I've been talking about. Now we'll go to the other end and we'll find some other things. It's another one. Okay. And there's another one there. Like I said, based on this layout, here's the eye, where I said that the top of the pyramid itself, where the design went up for that it was the top in the area where we're at now is the eye. And the eye here over the pyramid over there, which I said the pyramid on $1. Now we'll walk back over here on the 2nd floor and we'll look back down again with the Orion on the floor. Right over from here is an eye. Okay. Again, up the pyramid. skylight. Now, keep walking around the inn, and we'll see the other end. And there's the floor. The months, all the year, 12 the cycle, the whole cycle. Where it said it almost took a year for me to actually go through this process before it began. It was actually August 11th, 1995 when it first started. August 11th, 1996 that I saw what I said was the object that came down that night. A whole cycle, just like it is with this disc here, this calendar itself. And when you look down there also, you see what people are sitting on, those chairs. And that night, when I saw the object come down, I was sitting on the top of the car talking to Myra, and I saw it out the corner of my eye. And these chairs are shaped like the corner of your eye. There's another eye on the opposite side of the other eyes over there. Okay, there's the eye. Now we'll start over here and show you the other end of the trail. Where I said continue over the house. Here's the base of the layout here. Square, which if you lay a pyramid straight down, of course you have a square looking down. You know what now you know. It's not just a square, it represents the pyramid itself, the three, one inside the other. Again, continue down, and to kind of like back up what I'm saying about this design here on the floor. Get it again. Here it is here. I said that it's the base of the pyramid, showing that when you look down the pyramid, it's a square with the cross through it. Okay. Now, on the opposite side, you see this wooden type of platform. That platform, again, on one end, you have the one-dimensional. This one here gives you the other set of it to make sure if you have and understand the symbolism for you to read it and understand what it means. That is showing you again the eye of the pyramid. There we go. Straight down the trail, and like I said, it was after seeing what I said this design represents, the UFO, that this happened. So we'll continue down to the end. Mall. Okay. In the square, which is the pyramid itself. If you can get past one dimension of looking at it, which is the same as what I said the layout was and how the pyramid layout, the billboards created the design of the Great Pyramid. Going beyond the idea of looking at it just from a point, those are just that present a three-dimensional pyramid. Here it is right here. The eye again. And remember on the other side, you have the triangles. The three, only three. Again, the other end. What I said came over the house that night. And after it came over the house, everything happened as far as that experience. So many people had close encounter experiences, claimed to have them, but what I'm saying is over here also, an eye, the corner of an eye at the other end, which there is one on the other end too. We'll check this one out. There's the eye, corner of the eye right there. Where I said I saw it that night out of the corner of my eye. So what we got here is a representation of that. You can take it for what it's worth. Now I'm going to show you, I started Stargate based on watching the supermoon and whatever happened after that. That weekend of June 21st through June 24th, weekend of the supermoon, is when I went up on top of Millennium Mall. And today is September 4th, 2013. And I want to show you something. It was in Bloomingdale's that I went on top of the mall at Millennium. The mall, I said, was designed after my experience. Now, if you take a look at the top, where I was standing at, where I took my picture, there's a picture of the moon. Exactly where I was standing on the outside on June 21st, 2013, the weekend of the supermoon, over Bloomingdale's. Now you see how the magic of the pyramid text works. And exactly where I was standing, exactly where I took the picture, there's an inside picture of the moon reflecting on the same thing that I was showing from the outside during the day. That is to show you that this mall was designed after what I was saying it was designed, as the moon disappears. It was designed to show that this is the pyramid text from the vision. Right now I'm in front of the Bloomingdale's, 3rd Avenue between 59th and 60th on the east side. And I came down here while I'm here to see the first Bloomingdale's, which started in I believe it was 1859, 1861, between those 2 years. And yeah, relating this Bloomingdale's to the mall at Millennia, where I said that the object came down in itself, that the mall, the 2 anchor malls or stores, Bloomingdale's and Macy's, which both are in New York. That's on 34th Street. This is 60th and 59th, 3rd Avenue. And so I wanted to come out here and see this place itself and talk a little bit about it. One thing about it, if you go in the mall at Millennia, you'll see on 2 ends, you'll see moonlight, which I can probably pretty much show there's a connection between that. And I could say it just so happens, or maybe not. As I turn around, you'll see the sign on the marquee of the theater, and it says "Magic in the Moonlight." To give, and if I stay. Well, at the mall at Millennia, on both sides, they show the projection of the moon. One side is on the mall at Millennia, it's over Bloomingdale's, which Bloomingdale's is where I went the first time on top of the building. And it said the mall itself is designed after the object that they came down over the house. Now looking down the street, 3rd Avenue. And to have a design and experience that is related to a place that you actually were born and raised and appear in Orlando, just as the place I'm staying at called Park Central. It's Park Central, which this is in the area of Central Park. Now we have the Bloomingdale's. What's going on? Good. So this is Bloomingdale's, Manhattan, New York. August 24th, 2014. Perfect timing. Again, magic in the moonlight. Moon glow, moonlight, the magic. Just like the magic that night, Bloomingdale. Construction of the Millennia area.